What's up guys, Brian here from CES 2022. This is our very first video in 2 years from Las Vegas, and I am very excited to talk about a few products from actually our trip sponsor, Hyte. Now, Hyte is a new brand. They're coming out with 3 new products in addition to their Revolt 3 case, which you guys have probably seen featured on the channel before. They have a case, a keyboard, and a headset. We're going to talk about them right now. BPS Customs coverage of CES 2022 is powered by Hyte and the new Revolt 3 Mini ITX enclosure. Portable yet packed with features including dual headphone hangers, a sturdy handle, and support for full-length graphics cards, the Revolt 3 is perfect as a compact desk piece or to bring with you on the go. Take your gaming setup to the next level with the Hyte Revolt 3. Check out the link down below for more information. Alright, so we actually just got out of a meeting with Hyte. Now, meeting in this case is unfortunately going to be a virtual affair, but they did send us over a bunch of press information, including a lot of images, photos, and all of the info dump that you guys are going to need for this new stuff. So let's talk about the case first. The case is called the Y60. It's going to release in March of 2022, and it's going to be $199. At least that is the target. Now you're looking at a size about the same as the Lee 011 Dynamic. So that's 456 by 285 by 462 millimeters. The GPU max dimensions they can handle are 375 millimeters long and 75 millimeters tall. But they do recommend that you keep that to 60 millimeters because, as you can see from some of these photos, the only option for mounting the GPU is going to be vertical. That's right, the PCIe slots are half height, and you could only use the included PCIe Gen 4 riser to mount your graphics card. Now, I did ask specifically about GPU clearance from this side panel glass because obviously that's a concern. With the fat boy GPUs that have been coming out recently, I didn't want to have my graphics card wedged up against that glass and preventing proper air circulation around it for cooling. Now, what they said was 75 millimeters max width, but preferably 60. So you're probably talking a 2-slot graphics card is what you should be putting in here unless you're doing a full custom loop, in which case it really doesn't matter. Now, the side panel glass is detachable through push pins, and there's a thumb screw on the back to secure it for transport. Now, the other glass panels are actually also detachable. However, they are with more traditional screws. So you could get the whole glass apparatus off of the case for ease of access to get in there, work on your water cooling, or install fans and radiators. But the front and the angled piece of glass, which I actually think is probably the coolest part of this case, stay on there unless you kind of get in there a little bit and unscrew them in a traditional sense. The case is going to come with 3 fans installed, 2 at the bottom and 1 in the rear. The 2 at the bottom serve as intake, and they could fit up to 140 millimeters in size down there. Now, the rear exhaust is only a 120, but the case can also fit 5 more fans. That's 2 140s on the rear wall by the motherboard and up to 3 120s at the top. The front I/O is actually situated in a position which I really like. It's angled. It's right on the corner here at the bottom, and it's 2 USB-A, a headphone, mic jack, and USB-C, along with the power button in the middle. The power button is the only RGB effect on the case. Power supplies, you could fit up to an ATX unit. It's mounted in the back behind the motherboard tray, much like the Lee 011 Dynamic. Now, airflow pathways on this case are always obviously questionable when you have a lot of glass, but Hyte says they've tested things and everything is good to go, especially when you fully populate the case with all the fans. So in March, I guess we will see how the Y60 performs. Now let's move on to the HG10 headset. Now, I'm not going to get too in-depth about this because it's a gaming headset. $99 is the projected cost, and it's going to come out in February, so we should see this pretty soon. It's a wireless headset, comes in a matte gray finish. That's the only finish that's available. It uses vegan leather on the ear cups and the headband, and both of those are supposed to be very plush and very comfortable for long-term gaming sessions. There are volume and mute controls on the headset for easy access, 40 millimeter drivers in the ears, and a detachable microphone. One of the coolest things that they told me about it is that it's going to have a 30-hour battery life and should charge fairly quickly with the included USB-A to USB-C cable. Headset's not really my jam, but this one looks pretty good at a decent price. $99 seems pretty reasonable. Now let's move on to the most controversial product, and not necessarily because the product segment is controversial, but the design of the Keeb SR65 does depart quite a bit from what is effectively a full custom keyboard. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the custom keyboard space, we're not talking about your traditional gaming keyboard that you might see from bigger manufacturers like Corsair. Custom keyboards are a completely different market segment, and I've been getting into that on my channel a little bit, so maybe you guys have seen that from me. But custom keyboards are made to be disassembled, tuned, and made so that the user has it exactly the way that they want it. You could change out the switches, you could put in dampening foam, you could change the sound and the materials and the keycaps, and it's definitely something that is pretty niche. Now, this is going to be available in two different configurations. You're either going to be able to buy it bare bones, which means just basically the case, the plate, and the PCB for $350, or a fully built unit for $400. Now, considering what you get with the fully built unit, I think this is probably the better option because you're going to be getting a full set of Durock switches and ABS keycaps along with the bare bones kit, meaning that you don't have to buy anything else. Now, they did tell me a few different items about the construction of this that I was very interested in. So the case is going to be polycarbonate and aluminum. The PCB is going to be 5-pin hot swap, and the construction is supposed to be gasket mount, which is definitely a benefit if you like a little bit of flex in your typing experience. Now, the fully built unit is going to be available with 3 different switches. We have Durock Linear Pinks, Durock Linear Yellows, and Durock Tactile Teals. Those are 65, 55, or 67 gram switches. Also, the keyboard comes with Durock V2 stabilizers, which, if you know custom keyboards, is just the industry standard. You're probably going to have to tune them yourself. I don't know if they're going to come lubed or not. However, that is definitely something you're not going to have to purchase on the aftermarket. Now, the biggest controversial thing about this keyboard is going to be the design. They decided to go with these 2 very large media control rollers on the upper right-hand corner. Now, they are configurable. Hyte is actually coming out with their own software that allows you to reconfigure almost any key on the board along with control the RGB effects. Now, they did mention that the RGB is going to be AI enabled. Whether or not that really matters to you, I can't really decide. I don't know if it's going to be a selling point for them or not, but they did put a lot of R&D into making sure that the keyboard is able to replicate the RGB effects according to what is on your screen. That's pretty cool, but that's not why I'd buy a custom. Now, do you like the roller? That's what I want to know about. This, by default, comes configured to do volume and media, and you could actually switch it to do any number of different functions through their software, but the design itself is pretty large. It's pretty out there, and let me know what you guys think down below. So that is Hyte CES 22. We are going full speed here in Las Vegas. A lot of videos coming at you guys very soon. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel for more. Thank you very much to Hyte for sponsoring our CES content, and we'll see you guys in the next video.